Welcome to What the Tech. We're the channel that cuts through all the corporate BS to tell you what's really going on. And today, oh man, today we're digging into this viral robot reveal that everyone's calling the future. But here's the thing, it's not the future, it's a magic trick. Let's get into it. And right here, this quote, this gets to the heart of it. This whole thing isn't really about a cool new robot. Nope, it's about how easily we, all of us, can be tricked into accepting pure stagecraft as some grand leap for humanity. We're not just looking at a machine, we're looking at a piece of theater. And you know what we're going to do? We're going to pull back that curtain. All right, so let's set the scene. A company called Xpeng rolls out its shiny new humanoid robot. And this thing, it just glides onto the stage. Its movements are so incredibly fluid, so freakishly natural that everyone, and I mean everyone, online in the crowd had the exact same thought. No way, that's just a person in a suit. So you can imagine, right? The rumors are spreading like wildfire. It's a hoax, it's fake. So the CEO, a guy named Xpeng, he walks back out on stage. He knows he's got to do something big, something dramatic to shut everyone up. And what he does next? Well, it's pure, uncut showmanship. To prove it's real, he pulls out a knife and he literally cuts into the robot's leg. I'm not kidding. He peels back this flexible skin to show everyone the guts inside, the machinery, the wires, the motors. And the crowd? Stunned silence. Just like that, you'd think the debate was over. Case closed, right? Wrong. This is where you have to pay attention. Because that little stunt, that wasn't a scientific demonstration. It wasn't proof. As this quote says, that's not science, that's show business. It was a magic trick, a perfectly executed piece of corporate theater designed to grab the headlines and control the story. And you know what? It worked perfectly. So yeah, that's the story they want you to run with, the one they want you to believe. But it's not the real story, not by a long shot. We're about to break down what's actually going on behind the smoke and mirrors. And hey, if this is the kind of analysis you're here for, the stuff that cuts through the hype, do us a favor and hit that subscribe button for What the Tech. It really helps us keep making these. Okay, so let's deconstruct this whole spectacle. That knife, the leg, the big dramatic reveal, what did any of it actually prove? The short answer, almost nothing. Look, let's break it down. What did cutting open the leg prove? Well, it proved there are motors in the leg. Okay, great. And it proved that this was a completely prepared, staged demo. What didn't it prove? It didn't prove that its movements weren't pre-choreographed down to the millimeter. It proved absolutely nothing about whether the scene is robust or repeatable or, and this is the big one, safe to have around actual people. It's a classic case of misdirection. Look over here while the real trick happens over there. And the craziest part is how quickly we all bought it. The fact that we were so wowed by this, it really does say a lot more about us than it does about the robot. We see a machine that moves with a tiny bit of grace, and bam, our brains just light up with all the sci-fi movies we've ever seen. And the companies? Oh, they know this. They know exactly which buttons to push, and they exploit it perfectly. Think about it. We are totally primed to be fooled by this stuff. For one, we're just used to seeing these stiff, jerky robots, so anything that moves smoothly feels like a quantum leap forward. We're also, let's be honest, pretty bad at guessing what's actually possible with modern mechatronics. Then you've got decades of movies that have trained us to either get really scared or really excited. The companies know all of this. They are literally counting on our sense of awe to stop us from asking the really tough questions. All right, so if the onstage drama doesn't get you, they have a backup plan. Let's talk about the next phase of the strategy, the numbers game. This is where they just drown you in what I like to call techno-poetry. These big, impressive-sounding specs that are designed to make the whole thing sound so incredibly advanced, you feel dumb for even thinking of a question. And they hit you with stuff like this. It has 82 total degrees of freedom. Or how about this one? 22 degrees of freedom in the hands alone. It sounds amazing, right? Like, wow, that must be a huge deal. And that's exactly the point. It's meant to sound like a massive breakthrough. And then, just to really hammer it home, they drop a number like this on you. 2250. That's trillion operations per second, or TOPS, of processing power. See? It's that techno-poetry I was talking about. It's not about giving you information, it's about making you feel like you're witnessing some kind of technological miracle, not just looking at a new product. Yeah, the numbers are impressive, but they're a total smokescreen. They are designed for one purpose, to make you forget to ask the questions that really matter. The questions we all should be asking before a machine like this starts walking around in our world.
So what are those questions? Well, for starters, how often does this thing fail when it's not on a perfectly controlled stage? What's the actual injury risk if it clips a person in a crowded mall? And what happens when a curious kid yanks on its arm? See, these are the real questions, the ones that don't have shiny numbers attached to them, the ones they are desperately hoping you're too starstruck to ask.
Okay, so let's shift gears and talk about where they actually plan to use these things. The company line is that they're for commercial roles, but we have to call this what it is. This isn't about making your shopping trip more convenient. It's about a massive, live experiment on the future of human labor. And look, this is straight from the horse's mouth. They say the first ones will be tour guides, shopping guides, customer service helpers. Sounds pretty harmless, right? Kind of cute, even. But let's pull out our corporate speak translator and figure out what that really means. Here's the real translation. They are planning to use you, me, public workers, and everyday customers as unpaid, uninformed test subjects for an unproven robot in a live, unpredictable environment. They're going to call it innovation. Let's call it what it is, a high-risk gamble. And they're gambling with our safety and our jobs. The playbook for this is so obvious, it's almost boring. Step 1, you put the robots in public places and call them helpers. They're a novelty. Step 2, you normalize the idea of getting service from a machine that's controlled by a faceless corporation. Then comes step 3. Once everyone's used to it, you start displacing the human workers who cost more money. And you do it all under the shiny banner of progress. So that brings up a really important question about the design itself. Why does it have to look so human? Why go to all that trouble? Well, this isn't just about engineering. It's a calculated psychological tactic. Every single one of these design choices, the flexible skin, the almost lifelike movement, the human-like hands, they are not neutral engineering decisions. They are all designed to do one specific thing: disarm you. They want you to feel like you're interacting with a someone, not a something. Because when you do that, you lower your guard, you become more trusting, and you start to think it's way smarter than it actually is. And of course, buried deep inside all the glowing articles about this miracle, you find the real risks treated like a complete afterthought. Just look at this little gem. A single sentence that says, these things may also raise new questions about safety, privacy, and comfort. May also, as if it's just some minor side note we might want to consider later. But these aren't questions. They are the whole damn story. We are talking about constant, nonstop surveillance in public spaces. We're talking about machines that can be programmed to psychologically manipulate you to buy more stuff or change your behavior. We're talking about the very real physical danger of a heavy, powerful machine bumping into people, especially kids. This isn't about progress. It's about turning our public spaces into a corporation's private testbed. So I want to leave you with this thought. Look, the engineering here is impressive. I'm not denying that. But the spectacle, the show, that's designed to make you feel amazed so you forget to be cautious. So the next time you see some company unveil its next tech miracle, ask yourself a simple question. Are you watching the magic trick, or are you paying close attention to the magician's hands?